Can you zoom in into, when you launch a product, what all do you do nowadays? And especially with ManyChat and email marketing,
Hmm.
building email list, how much emphasis do you put on those?
Yeah. So most people starting out are not going to have email lists. So I wouldn't say that's a core part of my strategy, and it's not a core part of my strategy, depending on the brand like I'm working with. So for me, like just to like talk a little bit more about what I'm doing right now. So earlier I mentioned, Facebook ads, ManyChat, and that combo, right? So I also use pxlfy me in addition to that because I want when they click on that link on the Facebook ad to have the most maximum effort, right? And I want to be able to retarget these users for the future of like my marketing campaigns. But from a simple high level overview, is that if you're launching, right, you definitely want to go heavy on the PPC in the beginning. Um, and you definitely want to understand your numbers, right? So I have like a free document on the web within the Seller Tradecraft group. It's called the Balls to the Walls document. It's just like a nickname me and my friends gave for this document, but it's about understanding your numbers, right? One of the key things that I think I've in my business that I've seen different from other businesses, and what's been really successful for me is I don't focus on making money the first month that I sell on Amazon. Okay. What I mean by this is that I have products, since I've been selling on Amazon for like 3 years now, I have products that I've sold that I've been selling for 2 years, almost 3 years, and all these products still sell and they all still make money. But all these products, I did not focus on making money the first month. What I focus on is keyword ranking, right? So back to the idea of like wanting to be on the first page, wanting to be ranked number one for those keywords, and being as high as I can on those pages. I'm very, very aggressive in saying lowering my price, having the highest conversion rates as possible, and pushing my products to that first page, right? Because once you're on that first page, the organic sales start to kick in. And so I'll kind of just sacrifice profits for that first month to just break even. And my goal is just to break even on advertising dollars, the number of products I give away, just to break even, right? So I don't care about making money at all the first month. My whole thing is to gain reviews and get my product as high as I can on that first page. So it just kind of maintains that spot forever, right? Because like I said, those products, once you get them up to that first page, they'll just kind of hover there, right? And, a year goes by, 2 years have gone by, 3 years have gone by, and like these products are still there. I think a lot of people think about the short term, right? And which is completely normal, especially if you're a new Amazon seller. You're like, I need to make money. Like, I want this to start kicking off. But I think a big misconception that some of these other people in the space might teach is like, it's easy, you're gonna make money right away. But what I found is that if you invest, right, I consider it an investment to like break even, right? Maybe sometimes I lose money, but my goal is to break even. And if you can break even for longer than I've had friends that legitly just break even for 3 months, and that's like their strategy. And then once they get to like the top spots and their review count is a little higher, they start creeping up the price, right? The margins start getting more healthy, and then by then they can see like the demand of their products and order like more products from their supplier. So everything just starts going up in terms of like margins. Um, and that's just kind of like how that whole process works in terms of like the way I think about it. That, in my opinion, that's different from some of the other people I've seen.
So I have two questions. I'll ask both and you can answer. One is, how do you think about uh, product, finding a product? Do you just browse Amazon for 2 hours trying to say which product you like or maybe you can improve, or how do you find? And the second is manufacturer fraud. I read a horror story where this person was doing well on Amazon and they ordered a large volume and the product was defective. And now the manufacturer would not return the money and they
Mhm.
basically went bankrupt.
Okay, no, both great questions. So the first one you asked is like, what are some like product research techniques that you can use to figure out what items to sell on Amazon. All right, so we'll walk through a couple different ones. I won't say I have like one set source strategy that has worked the best, but it's just a magnitude of using all these together with my team. So one, we scour like the bestseller lists on Amazon, right? So within every category on Amazon, and every category you dive down deeper, right? So say you're in toothbrushes and you go into electric toothbrushes, and then you go to electric toothbrush heads, right? It's like a sub category. Amazon will give you the top 10 sellers of all of those, right? And that's one of the ways where we just like dive down into these different niches and find like the most random thing. Like the other day, someone was just telling me that like, I don't play hockey, right? I know the San Jose Sharks are, big here, but hockey players use hockey tape, right? I would have never thought about selling hockey tape. I never needed to buy hockey tape in my life, but there's people out there that need hockey tape, right? I wouldn't go in that market because they did the monopoly method already, and they have like the 2-pack, the 6-pack of the tape and everything. So not the best market to go into now, in case you were thinking of that. But that's one of the ways, right? So one is like going through those nodes, and then two is the monopoly method of just like, how do I make more variations of it, right? Which I don't think a lot of people really do, okay? And then another way is, so like I have my own private label products, and I know my competitors in the space. And what I do is every 30 days, I ask my team to go look at my competitor's storefront and tell me what new items they're selling. Right, so my competitors are already launching these products, so that means they have some degree of faith that like these products are going to work out, right? But I know that depending on who the competitor is relative to like my products, I can outcompete them, like in terms of better pictures, in terms of like a better launch strategy, in terms of better like just PPC spend, or maybe I can like order better margins. So every 30 days, my team will literally say I'm selling like those electric toothbrush heads, right? I'll just see who else is selling it, and then I'll click on their storefront, and I'll see what else they're selling. And you can, once you guys start selling on Amazon more, you guys will be able to identify like who the private label sellers are, right? And you can look at these products and just be like, okay, that's a private label product, and then you can ask your team to like look into those products too. So those two ways, or that second way, just staring at competitors, that is like one of my favorite ways, honestly, just to really look. Because like if your competitors are launching it, then it's like kind of a good sign. And then, and then your second question was, what happens if your manufacturer like ships like 1,000 items and they're defective, right? So if they ship 1,000 items and they're defective, it's your fault. Okay, and what I mean by that is you did not do a third-party inspection, right? So I actually just posted about this in a group yesterday where one of my manufacturers failed their third-party inspection, right? Every product you sell on Amazon, especially if they're a new supplier, what is that? Trust but verify, right? So you want to ask your manufacturers for pictures of your product, videos. I always ask my manufacturers to like, can you send me a video of the product, open it up, take it out, use it, whatever, throw it on the ground, see if it breaks. And then it's an important thing. You definitely want to test if it just breaks from like a drop test, right? And then I'll hire a third-party inspection company. So this means this company has no affiliation with the factory. They work for a third independent company. They're not allowed to accept any bribes, in terms of from the factory, in terms of free food, like them being nice or anything. Their job is to come in, take pictures, weigh the items, see the product quality is good. For me, the way this last company failed their inspection was the weight on all the boxes were wrong, right? So they were saying, I don't know, it's like 4.31 kilograms, but it was like 3.9, right? So the quote I got for shipping is going to be off, right? So that right there just saved me the money of the inspection, which is it was $250-ish, $250 for the inspections, which is incredibly cheap in my opinion for the peace of mind that you're going to get. So once they do that, they'll go ahead and they'll take pictures, and this is like a 25-page like inspection report, right? They'll weigh it, they'll test your items, they'll scan the barcodes, right? Okay, that was the major part that my guys failed on, right? And I didn't think about really testing this, right? So it is also partially my fault in terms of the design file we gave them, right? So the barcode we gave them on the design file was a little small, and I guess the way their printer works, it's not super sharp. So when you scan the barcode, it doesn't work. So what that means is when that item gets to Amazon's gonna be like, yo, this doesn't work. And they're gonna charge you this extra fee to label all the items, right? So now I'm telling the manufacturer like, hey, like you kind of should have told me this about before. So now they're just manually slapping these labels on like 25,000 like units to fix that problem.
My question is about listing quality and as Amazon's algorithms change, how to keep your listings and keywords and optimized. For example, in my listings, I noticed over the last few months, the 4th and 5th bullets on the bullet points are getting much less indexing than the first 3 bullets, and it changes all the time. So do you have a favorite tool, or what's your strategy for that?
That's a great question. What's your name? Sorry? Ben. So as you start selling on Amazon with private label, one of the main things, so every business has a set of like KPIs you have to worry about, right? So like these like key performance indicators of knowing if your business is healthy, right? And one of these tools that you're going to have to invest in is a keyword research tool and a keyword tracker, right? So Ben, I assume you're using a keyword tracking tool right now. Okay, so what a keyword tracking tool does is it tells you, so like earlier my example is like what page is my product on for the word electric toothbrush, right? Am I on page 1 or page 2 of that, right? And if I'm on page 1, am I on like position 2 or position 3, right? When you start having 10 products and each one has 100 keywords, right? You're not going to be checking that every single day manually. So this is like when the investment in these different keyword tracking tools come in. So if you start to see your keyword tracking, start to dip, then that's when like these changes have to occur. Like maybe there's a new competitor, maybe your words aren't getting indexed. So what I found, is that I usually hear about these things through my network. Like, hey, like this issue is not working. Have you guys been experiencing this too? And that's when we kind of look at our listings and we like share it with everybody. Amazon always changes, but in general, where the keywords are always accounted for is you want to always put the most important keywords for in your title and in your back end search terms. Those will always be indexed by Amazon. The issue that I found, right, is so there's this thing that we've been calling it a hard refresh, right? And so you can force Amazon to actually index you for those keywords. And the way you would do it is you would take out every single word from your listing, right? And you just put some like dummy stuff up there, but you just put the keywords that are not indexed within your title as the first words, right? And then you'll automatically get indexed for that within maybe 4 hours or so, right? You just want to check with like any tool like ZonWords, or Solar Tools, or just manually do an index search. And then from there, what you do is you just put all the original keywords back in. And then you should be indexed for those keywords again. And that's what we call a hard refresh. So, yeah, and I learned that from someone else. That wasn't my original idea.